I am going to not be doing podcasts moving forward. Now, what's going on? This is Javon. I am back. You are now listening to the JVaughnology Podcast. So if you do want to see the visuals of this and see what I look like, you can definitely go to my YouTube channel, which will be youtube.com/vaughnthabest, VAUGHNTHA. In today's video, we're going to be talking about ending of an error, as well as we're going to be doing a Q&A. So first, I'll start off with the Q&A, because, I mean, why not? I've never done a Q&A on my channel before, so let's see, or on my podcast before. So let's see. The first question I have is, with the recent election results causing much disarray and chaos, how do you maintain your peace? I have literally been talking about this all day. I'm so tired of talking about politics. Like, I don't even think you guys understand. I'm sipping tea right now because my throat hurts. I left the heater on last night, but don't mind you. Maintaining my peace in this chaotic situation that we are in right now. For me personally, it's easy for me to maintain my peace because I know I didn't do anything wrong. I think people who are going through the motions, that are like really going through the motions, are like, are the ones who like didn't vote, or they did put themselves in the situation that they're in right now because of who they voted for. I also think it's very important that you learn how to separate yourself from the world. I'm very big on doing that. I do take initiative in that, and I definitely understand the purpose of doing that. For me, I know that it's hard because everywhere we turn is so much going on. And there's always a problem, and there's always something changing, or there's always an argument about something changing, or it's something that's not beneficial to me as a black person or beneficial to me as a gay person. So it's just like, damn girl, can you ever get a break? But we're built for this. I feel like I'm hoping that this should unite us more than separate us, because I think that was the ultimate goal of the person who was in office to do that. So the main thing, again, because I know I'm varying. So for how I maintain peace is I try to stay off social media as much as possible. I only go on there if I'm like uploading videos like this or creating any content that's gonna be positive. I also try to make sure that I hit the search bar right when I get on stuff. I go straight to search, look what I need to look for, and go from there, because it's very easy for those things to creep onto your algorithm, anything that deals with the government, because people have a lot of opinion, especially since I'm in that 30 to 40 range. I feel like it's like really being pushed onto our algorithm, what's going on in the world, especially with like Palestine, and then also with this government election problem. It's a lot. So again, how I keep my peace is limiting my social media time for sure, and also just understanding that everything will work out. I also do believe in paying attention to. It's funny because it's like I don't want to be on social media because I don't really want to know what's going on in the government. But it's like I can't completely black it out because I do live in the United States. So I do need to pay attention to what the next move is and how we can benefit ourselves. There is a Instagram influencer. I think it's like Larry. I'll put it right here. But she practically updates us on what's going on in the world in layman's terms for us. As in, and I mean as us, people in our like 20s to 40s. She just breaks everything down in layman's terms for us. And I really do appreciate her. She's a really big, she's really, really, really big at explaining everything out and how it affects us and what will happen if we don't, like, stand up for what we need to stand up for. So I try to watch her, and then on YouTube, I will look here and there on what's going on in this Congress and what's about to get changed and added. And then also I go on to gay, I think it's like gay news or something like that. I put it here as well. I do keep up with that because I am a gay man, so I like to know what's gonna affect me. But honestly, I just stay as positive as I can, limiting my screen time and try to focus on myself. I think these next 4 years, I'm really gonna be laying low and focusing on myself, focusing on my craft and things that I care about until stuff gets a little bit out of hand, and then I need to involve myself. But I'm definitely gonna be that black person in the background, being like, I see what's going on. As long as y'all don't step on my bounds or step in my bubble, we're good. So if that helps, I hope that helps. So then also the second question is Mary Kill, Michael B. Jordan, Odell Beckham, and then Usher. I would marry Usher, cause the money, of course. This may be controversial, but I may KL. I can't. I know you're not supposed to say the word, so capital K, Michael B. Jordan, and then capital F, Odell. That's just. I mean, I feel like Odell would be a good time. Sorry, Michael B. And then it says it's a bit of a cliche question, but if you had the opportunity to get rid of one world crisis, what would it be and why? So one crisis that I would get rid of is pollution on Earth, and anything that involves pollution on Earth, as in stuff being in the sea, global warming, all that. Everything that has to do with Earth, I would do it. And the reason why is because I care more about the Earth than I do anybody else. Like, let's keep it a being. I feel like this is a planet that we were given, and we do not take care of it. Now, am I like the best person to like understand? Like, am I like the best person to be like, I'm not one of the people who don't flush the toilet until it turns brown. I'm not one of the people who recycle everything that I have. I'm not, but I do care deeply about the planet. And I do, if I do see stuff on the ground, I throw it away. One thing I really would want to work on is the whole trash. So I don't know if y'all know, girl, because I had to look this up because I want to know where trash went. So trash goes into like a big pit in the ground for it to now don't quote me, this is all, do not quote what I'm about to say before y'all go around trying to read me down in these comments. Don't even start with me. I didn't know that all trash goes into like a big, like, it goes into what do they call it? I can't even think of it. I can't even fucking think of it. It's a location that they put all the trash in, right? So my thing was, I was like, why don't we just burn trash, right? I feel like once you burn it, it'll be gone. Don't have to worry about it, right? But apparently that would affect the ozone layer as well as the atmosphere. Did not know that. I was like, dang, well, I'm happy I'm not burning stuff because that would have I would have messed up the planet even more. But what they do is they put it in like this big random area. You have to look it up. It's on YouTube. It explains what they do with trash because I was very confused. They put it in a big area and they let it decompose itself. A landfill, I believe that's what they call it. Again, do not quote me, but it's very interesting. Look up on YouTube how they get rid of trash, and that's where all the trash goes. And that's something that I would try to fix because I don't like that. Like, I wish we could just kind of like hurl all the trash into the sun. Like, I would love that to get rid of all the waste. But I don't know why they haven't done that. I would have did that, but I don't know what would that like affect the universe if we did that? Like, if we took all of our trash and just shot it into the sun? I feel like a Futurama episode did that. If you know what Futurama is, you get it. But I feel like on Futurama they did that, but I can't remember what happened. Because Earth is just a big hot star. So I mean, if we just throw it, it won't even make it to the Earth because of how hot it won't even make it to the sun because of how hot the layer of the sun is. Like, it should like burn it. But I don't know. I feel like that would be a great idea, but I don't know the repercussions of that. So do not quote me. But that's one thing I would definitely focus on is pollution on Earth. That's the only thing I would care about. That's one thing that I wish we could really just get it the fuck together. I do not like this global warming. I feel like it's very... because I feel like global warming is real. I feel like a lot of people don't agree with that. They say that the rumor is that the stars are moving at are moving around the galaxy. That's why the planet's getting hotter, and that's why the planet's acting up. But that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. Don't quote that either. There's a lot of things not to quote in this Q&A. But yes. Next questions. What advice would you give to your teenage self? Oh, JV. What I would tell myself, younger self, me, what I would tell me when I was younger is nothing's ever going to work how you planned it. You can still do plans. I agree with still having plans, but baby, none of it's going to work. So just get ready to ride the ride. And also, don't be so hard on yourself. And also work on your overthinking. And go to therapy. I feel like go to therapy right when you get out of high school, if possible. I feel like your life will be a lot better if you do that, because there's going to be a huge turning point in your life, and it's going to be a shit show, and you're not going to know what to do, and it's going to suck. But if you have that help, you shouldn't have those problems. You'll have the tools to be able to adapt to that situation the best you can. What advice do you expect from your older self? Oh, I guess that's the same thing. What advice do you expect from your older self? Well, I just gave my advice. How do you get yourself out of a funk? So, this has been very up and down, getting myself out of funks, I would say. The main thing that I do is, first, figure out what the problem is. Why am I in this funk? And what can I do to get out of it? Most of the time it's to go to the gym. Because if it's an overthinking thing, it's most likely I need to go to the gym, and I just need to let out. I feel like once I let out so much aggression and all this stuff and get my dopamine, I don't know what it is, because everybody got all these different words. But practically when I sweat a lot, I'm like, whew, and then my brain can like operate a lot of stuff. And also when I work out, I can get through a lot of conversations in my mind. It's so weird. I think it's because it's like my muscles are focused and my brain is like hyper focused, so it kind of evens itself out, and I can usually figure stuff out. And then also when I'm like in a really bad funk, like I don't want to do anything, I honestly do let myself have 24 hours to sit in it. I feel like it's very important to acknowledge your feelings. I feel like as black people, especially as a black man, we were taught to not acknowledge our feelings, so it's very hard for us to accept them. And I'm very big on accepting my feelings now. I feel like before it was very hard because, again, being a black man and then being on top of that being a gay black man, it's always just been a very big struggle for me, because it's like you don't want to come off weak for having emotions, even though it's like when you're a gay man, it's like, I don't know what it's like. I'm balancing estrogen and testosterone all the time. And sometimes estrogen really be winning, but it's like I need to just really just breathe, accept it, give myself 24 hours. Like, bro, you're having your moment, let you have your moment. You get 24 hours, do whatever you need to do. Cry, sleep, hide in the covers, do whatever you need to do to get that out of you, because once you let it out, it will just make things 10 times better. Like, it just be like, okay, cool. I'm feeling better, now I can process, now we can proceed. But if you keep just trying to put a band-aid over it, put a band-aid over it, it's never going to get better. Alright, so the next question is, how was 75 hard? I feel like, I thought I did a video on this. I may have not. I feel like I did a video on it, but I did not post it. Now, when it comes to 75 hard, I try my hardest to do that. My issue with 75 hard is that I already work very hard at my job. So it's very hard for me to go to the gym 2 times a day. It's extremely hard. My body, what I've learned in this age of 30, I think I'm 32 now? Yeah, of 32 is that my body don't bounce back like how it used to. And it does take a lot of discipline, which one thing I am trying to work on this year is discipline. But girl, it don't bounce back that damn. girl, I'd be tired. I feel like if I had a call center job, like a sit down job, I would be able to do 75 hard because I'd be so bored. I have no choice but to do it. Because again, I have had a call center job, and I used to go to the gym practically every day because I need to do something with my body other than sitting in a chair. So I think it's very good for people who either work at a call center or don't have a job, or like affluent, like like influencers. I feel like it'd be good for them, or somebody who's just as a sit down job. I feel like it'd be good for them. For me, it was a no. Also, with the dieting, my diet can go very up and down. I'm not very strict with my diet. I feel like every time I try to do that, something bad usually happens, and it just doesn't work out for me. So yeah, 75 hard just may not. It's just not my thing. Maybe 30 hard one day, but it's not really like a priority for me. How do you feel about the new laws now that trash is in office? Um, Again, back to this whole political thing. I don't think a lot of those laws are going to be able to get through. A lot of them are. Um, I do know that it's it's a shit show. I feel like a lot of them may get passed, and then once they do get passed, they're just gonna get switched back over after the 4 years are up. But honestly, they're not affecting me as bad as I don't want them to affect me, but they're not really affecting me that bad. So I think I'll be okay for right now until it affects me, and then that's when I'm gonna be like, oh god. It says, oh, then they put in here, if you aren't comfortable talking about it, just don't. Well, I already done talked about it. Jesus. It says also goals that you have for the next quarter of this year. Um, the next quarter of this year is going to be mainly based on finances, just straight up finances. Just really getting it together. I have been paying attention to my finances, which is great. Um, you start to learn and accept a lot of things that you need to work on when it comes to your finances, as well as like when you're overbuying and buying too much. And I think like what I really learned is that I buy a lot of stuff I don't need, but I won't. And I have the dish. It's very much a self control type of thing, as well as I have impulsive buying things I need to work on. Um, but yeah, we're working on it, and it will be fine. And then I think that's the only living comfortably and happy. That's my next quarter goal, if anything. And then it says, what vacation or concerts do you want to go to this year? So vacation wise, I do want to go to a getaway. It's when you are like in the woods and you're like away from all social media, and like I think you lock your phone up. It's like in the middle of no man's land. Like I want to go there. I want to go there for my birthday. I want to just go there, just like breathe, live in the moment. I'll probably have somebody come with me. I just want it to be quiet. Like I want to be out in nature and just be quiet. And I feel like I just want to journal. I want to read. I just want to do that. I don't do nothing else. I would love to go to New York just because, why not? I love going to New York. It's always fun. I do want to, I probably will do that. And then those are the only, oh, and then see my family like in Missouri and stuff like that. I don't really, well, that is a vacation. I don't really have, this year is not really a vacation. It's more about like saving, getting finances together. And that's mainly it. Last year was all about vacations, baby. She was on the move last year. Last year we was non-stop, won't stop. When it comes to concerts, I believe I'm gonna go see JoJo. This whole Cowboy Carter thing, baby, I don't know about that. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I can't guarantee it. Deny. I don't think I really want to see anybody else, honestly. I did want to see Cash Doll, but I missed that. I don't. This year's not. Again, I'm really focused on finances. I really don't really care to see anybody this year. I think maybe I would go see Flo. I think that would be cute. But other than that, like I would love to see SZA and Kendrick Lamar. Maybe I don't even know if I want to see them. I just A concert is just not on my mind this year. I feel like last year they were, baby. As you can see on my Instagram, I was back to back to back to back. But this one is just like, this year's like, okay. If I go, I go. If I don't, I don't. So we're gonna finish off this Q&A with a. It's kind of like, I guess it's a big question. So let me get into it. I'll read it out for the backstory. Hello there, sir. Recently, someone congratulated me on being in a relationship, but I told them I wasn't in anything, but they were overly excited about it. We were figuring things out. When I asked, why were you so excited? They said, who wants to be alone? We expanded on that and I told them they were projecting their insecurities onto me. Ooh. They didn't. Let me see. I lost track. Ooh, that was rough. They didn't say much after, but they did mention that they didn't want me to be alone, which confirmed what I initially thought. That's completely fine, but I don't think personal fears of loneliness should be treated as a universal experience. I've been out of a relationship for a while, and I haven't necessarily been working towards one because I've been focusing on other goals. I am genuinely comfortable with being alone, but others seem to think that's strange. And then the question is, why do people often crave relationships but struggle with being alone? We'll start with that one. Oh, well, this one kind of part of it. It says, why do people often crave relationships but struggle with being alone? Well, I guess because it's like three questions in one, so let me just see the rest of it. Is the desire for a companionship normal, or is it sometimes rooted in the fear of solitude? So, this is the thing. Being alone. I don't know. So being alone. Why do people? I'm trying to figure out how I can go about this because I don't want it to seem. I don't know, girl. We just be honest. So craving a relationship. That is very thirsty of you. I feel like you shouldn't crave to be in a relationship. A relationship should come to you, and if it does, it does. If it don't, it don't. I feel like when you crave something, it makes you look desperate. It's like you're yearning and yearning for something when there's nothing wrong with being alone. And I feel like, especially nowadays, I don't know. Well, it really depends on age category too, because from 20 to 25, I didn't care to be in a relationship. I was in relationships, but I was just like, But then, like, from like 25 to 28, no, I think it was, I think 20 to 25, it was cool and cute. But then, like, 26, I did feel like, 26, 27, I felt like I was a little desperate. I felt like I was just trying to get with whoever I needed to get with so that I wouldn't be alone. And then that's when I had to I had to reflect on things of like, because I started getting into toxic relationships. And it's all about, relationships are all about what you go in with. I feel like, I know I'm varying, but when it comes to relationships, you just have to be very mindful of what you want. You have to be very mindful of what the two people want. I feel like sometimes people come in relationships and they want something from somebody else. And that's horrible. And that's those people who don't like to be alone. Being alone is a beautiful thing. I feel like being alone really shows your strength. It also shows that you know who you are and that you are very secure in who you are. And if something comes along. And then also, it may not be the time for you to be in a relationship. Like, sometimes you don't want to just be in a relationship because you just want to be in one. Like, I feel like I have very successful friends, and my friends are very busy people. So, like, putting them in relationships will kind of mix up the routine of their life, and it will start getting messy because it will be like some people prioritize their jobs when they do the relationships. Like, it's just, you have to be very mindful. I don't think that, again, I still don't feel like there's nothing being alone. I was alone for about 2 years, I think, and that's when I really discovered who I was and what I liked and what I didn't want to deal with and what I did not want to tolerate. And once I figured that out, the person just came. I feel like when it's time for the person to come, they'll come, and that's just how it is. But when you're like, but I do agree with you. You can go on date naps. I do agree with going on date naps, talking to people here and there, and kind of working your way through. Some people don't agree with date naps. They're like, oh, if I meet them in the streets, I mean, I just never met them. But I do agree with date naps. I think, especially on like as being a gay black person, excuse me, that's kind of like our only outlet, like because we can't tell. Sometimes you can't tell when somebody gay. You can't tell anybody when they're straight. You can't tell. But as in for like men and like hetero people, this is the privilege thing. Like they have the privilege of just knowing, like somebody's straight. You just know they're straight and they like guys and they like girls. It's a lot easier for them. But for gay people, I feel like date naps work. I feel like for straight people, it works too. It gets people to expand the horizon because maybe where they live, the person's not there. Because I had to go to a whole different state and find mine. Who would have thunk? I never thought about going down to Florida and I would find mine. Who would have known? I didn't know. But yeah. So to answer the question, why do people crave relationships? It's because they're desperate. I feel like they want something. They want a relationship because they don't want to deal with the problems they have for themselves. Or they don't want to look and have that alone time with themselves. And a lot of people, what I've learned is that a lot of people don't really like themselves, as in they don't like where they're at in life. So it's like, let me just entertain myself with somebody else. And it's like, no, babes, that's not going to solve your problem. Or they want somebody to fix their life. Or have a distraction. So they wouldn't have to really worry about their life. So it can be various reasons why people are craving a relationship. Now, I do feel like the desire for companionship is normal. But you can find companionship in friends. You can find companionships in pets. You can find it another way than dating somebody you don't really care about because you don't want to be alone. There's a lot of other options, babes. But I know nowadays for sure it's usually like people just jump in relationships because of the companionship, or I've seen people get into relationships because they didn't want to pay all their bills. It's really just depends on the person, but there's nothing wrong with being alone. I feel like, again, it really shows how secure you are with yourself, and it shows that you're not going to tolerate just anybody coming into your circle, because especially if you have a lot going on for yourself, you just can't let anybody into your life. Like, I learned that the hard way, because most of the time when you have your shit together, people who don't have their shit together are the desperate ones that want to be in a relationship with you. Or on the flip side, there is people who will admire you because you have your shit together, and then they have their shit together, and it just it just works. But most of the time, no shade, a lot of people who want to get in relationships are the ones who are really desperate. I definitely, it's funny because at one point I was dating again, and I was kind of confused because I was like, wow, there's so many great guys out here who have their shit together, but they don't want to be in relationships. And I'm like, why? Like, that's weird. Like, you have your shit together, get with somebody like me who has my shit together, and we should work. But it's because it's not a necessity for them. Like, and if they want to get into something serious, they will. But also, on the flip side, a lot of them probably went through a lot of shit with who they were with previous. So that's why their mindset is like, I'd rather just be by myself and figure things out. Which is, again, it's okay. If you want to be single, that's fine. But for those people who are trying to jump in relationships to try to fill a void, go to therapy. If you're that desperate to get in a relationship, you need to go to therapy and figure out where that's coming from. Where is that stemming from that you're so desperate to be in a relationship? But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Now, to finish off this video, because again, video was titled End of an Era Q&A. I am going to not be doing podcasts moving forward. Now, before we start shaking the table, Um, I genuinely feel like I have gotten to a point in my life where the JVaughnology Podcast is practically complete. I feel like I started this podcast when I was going through a lot of things, and I had to like really filter through a lot of emotions, and I'm just not that into it anymore. Now, I will say this: I will still be talking about like serious subjects on like my YouTube channel. So definitely go subscribe to my YouTube channel, because what I'm learning is I talk about a lot of stuff that I would on this podcast on my YouTube channel. Just randomly, just burning out conversations. Like body dysmorphia, just had a video on that. You should go check it out. But I don't feel like I want to do the sit down, set up stuff no more. I feel like I have surpassed that. I feel like I was, thanks to therapy, I've healed from a lot of those beginning podcast conversations. And I think I'm honestly in a different era right now. Now, maybe in the future, I could definitely see myself being on a podcast, probably with somebody else. I don't think I would do it by myself anymore, but I think this is the end of it. And I know like a few people ask me, why is this the end? Because it's like, it's just this time. I feel like everybody knows when there's a time to finish something. And I feel like my time is now to finish the JVaughnology Podcast. Now, the episodes will still be remaining up, so if you want to go listen, I definitely say listen to it. I mean, hey, you never know. Maybe in a year I may come back. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't give you an answer, but as in for right now in my life, I don't want to do a podcast anymore. I don't think this is... I think this is like an extra thing on my plate that I just don't want to have right now. And yeah, I feel like I've said all that I need to say on the podcast. I've said a lot of stuff throughout the years. And you definitely should go listen to those previous podcasts, because I've hit a lot. I hit on a lot of points on my podcast, and I'm very grateful how far I went. 13 episodes is a lot of episodes to me. I know some people are like, it's just 13. Yeah, 13 episodes is enough. I feel like this is a good way to cap it off and go about my life. I do want to focus more on YouTube, as just YouTube in general. And again, I will be talking about serious topics on my YouTube as well, but I'd rather like intertwine that with a vlog. Like kill two birds with one stone type of thing. So yeah, it's been a fun ride having the podcast. It's just that you can even tell the difference from when I started to where I am now. Just in a way better mental place. I feel like I've grown drastically from doing the podcast. And yeah, again, I may be on the podcast in the future. You never know, because I love to run my mouth. But for moving forward, for right now, this will be the last episode of the JVaughnology Podcast. I do want to thank you guys for listening. To all the people who have been listening for years, I really do appreciate it. I'm very thankful for all the good, positive feedback I got from the podcast. But yeah, this is the end of it. For now, I guess. I'm just not gonna be consistently uploading anymore on the JVaughnology Podcast. So we will see how that goes, but I do thank you guys for listening. It was a pleasure. If you want to keep up with me, I do have a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/vaughnthabest, VAUGHNTHA best. And I don't want to say goodbye, but maybe see you later, maybe in the future years, But yeah, I do want to give myself a shout out for having 13 episodes. And that's all I got. Peace.